Hey there, today we're doing a review of the GORUCK GR3. Here at Nomads Nation, we have been reviewing the world's top EDC and travel gear for 7 years. And in this video, I'm gonna show you everything that you need to know about this bag to decide if it's for you. We're gonna pack it out, double check its advertised capacity, and I'll give you my brutally honest pros and cons and overall scores, so you can know if this product is worth it. And you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because if you're not quite sold on the GR3, I'll make 2 alternative suggestions that might better suit your needs. Let's talk about the gist of the GORUCK GR3. If you are unfamiliar with GORUCK, they're a gnarly brand. They're a you brand. And what I mean by that is like, they just do things their own way. It's not just because they have like that kind of military, tactical look and history. But sometimes it's frustrating and sometimes you just gotta give them credit that they are who they are. And that ethos has made them one of the most respected carry brands in the world. What's fascinating is that like, they just made bags for rucking, which is when you put like a bunch of heavy weights in a bag and just run or walk endlessly with it. But because bags need to be so well made to properly ruck with, that just escalated GORUCK's reputation to being one of the best bag makers in the world, not just for rucking, but just in general. But not without a lot of compromises. We'll talk about those in a second. First, I'm gonna bring you through some of the bag's top features. We've got that classic military, tactical look. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 MOLLE rails at the bottom. A quick-ish access pocket in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4 compression straps. Clamshell style opening into a fairly minimalist main compartment. A quick access top pocket. And finally, we got a harness system and a laptop compartment that I'll admit, not my favorite, but it could be great for the right person. We'll go over the pros and cons of everything on the back of the bag 3 chapters from now. Now, GORUCK claims this bag is 45 liters in capacity. But here at Nomads Nation, we always double check that. As you can see, I got the main compartment fully packed out with our factory grade measurement balls. Let's check the bag's dimensions now that it's fully packed out. We got a height of 22 inches, a width of around 15 inches, and a fully packed out depth of 9 inches. Now, measuring the volume of a bag is a bit more of an art than a science, but I will say, after measuring like hundreds of bags, GORUCK always pleasantly surprises me because they're typically over their stated capacity, which is a rarity. Most bags go under. Let's see if this one is over as well. All right, so checking out right here, that line, that top line is 45 liters. So we're like at 45 on the dot. Which means if you take into account the fact that we kind of have a little bit of space in the top pocket and maybe if you want to include the laptop compartment, this bag's definitely giving you a very comfortable 45 liters of capacity. Now for me, one glaring con of all GORUCK bags is just how heavy they are. GORUCK claims this bag weighs 5.1 pounds, which is heavy. But our scale's coming in a little bit lower. I'm getting just under 4.6 pounds on scale number 1, and the same on scale number 2. As of recording, the bag comes in 1 color option, black, but it should be noted it comes in 2 different sizes. As I said, this is the 45 liter, but it also comes in a 35 liter version. This is what the bag looks like when it's empty. And here you can see the bag fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation team. Now, before I tell you the price, and half the people watching this review leave, I gotta tell you that GORUCK's warranty is insane. It's one of the best warranties I've ever seen, not just in the world of bags, but just in the world of products in general. It's called their Scars Guarantee. And basically, like, they've got you for life and they've got the proof to back it up. Just Google GORUCK Scars Guarantee. But it should be a good warranty because for all that, this bag runs around $400 US. Now, moving forward, that high price point is gonna be our North Star. So we can then determine if this bag is worth the price or not. But it should be noted, if at any point during this review, you think the bag is worth it and you're thinking about making a purchase, we highly suggest making your purchase with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps to support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. All right, let's talk about the front of the GORUCK GR3. Starting with the aesthetic, it's pretty obvious. This is tactical to the umpteenth degree. And it makes sense because GORUCK is actually started by ex-military, which I think is an enormous contributing factor to GORUCK's reputation, not just for who they serve, military, tactical, ruckers, but also just the quality of the bags. Like they're bringing that military, gotta be prepared for anything mindset and quality to GORUCK. And like, while I'm not crazy about GORUCK bags, I'll never for once deny the quality of their bags. A big contributing factor to that quality is the primary fabrics they use. If you like a nice, light, thin, breezy fabric, do not get this bag. Now, some GORUCK bags do utilize like a lighter denier ripstop nylon. Like we reviewed the double compartment ruck. I don't like GORUCK's naming conventions, they always confuse me, but that was my favorite GORUCK bag ever because the fabric was significantly lighter and more malleable, and that blue was beautiful. But this is typically what GORUCK does. And yep, suspicions confirmed, 1000D Cordura, which is not, that crazy of a prediction because that's what GORUCK always uses. And honestly, like in the tactical kind of world, 1000D Cordura is perfect. It's possibly the most badass fabric in the world. It can survive the apocalypse. It is abrasion resistant to the next level. Gives you a bit of weather resistance as well. The only negative of 1000D Cordura is it can be a bit of a hair magnet. It's just the weave, the little balls of actual like fabric kind of acts like a little bit of a hook. So if you have a cat or a dog, your GORUCK bag might be a little extra decorative, more so than maybe you want. Logo is loud in GORUCK's typical fashion, but the good news, if you're not into the American Aero aesthetic, you can replace it with your own patch. Subscribe to Gear for the Girls, our sister channel. Or leave it patchless and have a bit more of a low-key, discreet look. For the MOLLE system, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rails, and each rail has 8 lash points, giving you 32, if my math suits me correct, lash points in total. And you can see, got a lot of them. Not my thing, but if you like to clip things externally to the outside of your bag, that's what these lash points are for. And as of recording, the 35-liter version of this bag does not have the MOLLE rail system on the front right here. Only the 45-liter version has it. Last note on the front, let's talk about this pocket right here. I don't love it, but I don't love it because it's like anything with a GORUCK bag. It's so strong and it is a brute force in itself, and it kind of requires some brute force to use. That's because of the thick fabrics. And this zipper is just, it's a little tough, and it's made tougher by this rain flap right here. But of course, as the name suggests, for a rain flap, it's gonna help keep your bag extra protected against weather and rain. But for me, the trade-offs aren't really worth it, as it can get a bit annoying. But when you do get in there, you can see we got a big old pocket, reaches all the way to the bottom of the bag. Now, it's not gonna be very swingable, and what I mean by that is like, swinging the bag around to grab what's in here. It's just in a weird location right there. And plus when this bag is fully packed out, it's just not gonna happen. So don't look at it as like your super fast access pocket. And also, as we were testing the volume of this bag, when the main compartment is fully packed out, there's not really a lot of volume in here to use, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It gives the bag a much more sleek and flush aesthetic. So that means if you wanna use it for a sweater, you totally can. Headphones as well, but they will be fighting for a bit of space with the main compartment. All right, speaking of which, let's talk about the main compartment. Let's move on to the middle of the GORUCK GR3. Compression straps, you're either gonna love them or hate them. For me, not a fan. I know what you're thinking, you're like, dude, do you like anything about this bag? And I don't really, actually don't. This is probably the last bag I'd ever buy. But I hope that you're enjoying my review because even though it's not for me personally, I can still objectively look at this bag for who it's intended for and the fact that even though it's not for me, like it's still incredibly well put together. Compression straps though, I don't like because they interfere with zippers, right? So the main compartment zipper is unopenable until you have to pop all these off, which for impatient Aaron is really irksome. But on the pros side, compression straps do allow you to A, tighten the depth of the bag, which is especially useful if you're traveling and trying to get it in like a specific carry-on bin size. But also if you're an absolute psychopath and you wanna use this monster truck of a backpack as your EDC when you get to your destination, as your everyday carry, then again, you can tighten these compression straps and just totally reduce the depth and overall profile, making it kind of better for EDC, but I'm small though, I'm 5'8", so like this EDC would eat me alive. Now, good news is at 400 USD, GORUCK is decking this bag out with materials. Cream of the crop across the board. Like I said, we got the Cordura fabrics. These compression straps are made with Duraflex hardware. And to get into the main compartment, we're using YKK zippers, and they are chunky. Ooh, but I'm jumping the gun. Let me just finish a few things on the outside of the bag first. Namely, handles. These handles, I like and I don't like. I like because holy taki mushroom, look at all this reinforced stitching. See this? We got regular stitching and back stitching and bar tack stitching, which means that these handles ain't going nowhere. They are so secure and reinforced in this bag. That applies to the top handle as well. But I don't love these handles because I don't find them to be the most comfortable. But again, comfort, luxury, that's not GORUCK's demo. They're not trying to make really soft and nice and cozy cloud-like bags. No, that's not the GORUCK way. Okay, back to the main compartment. Now, to get inside here, we're using number 10 YKK zips, and they are chunky zippers. Just, you know, they're not like lightning fast zippers. They require a bit of extra tricep to get into. But again, that's the entire feel of this bag. And also, I don't love the fact that we have a rain cover on those zippers as well, making it a bit more difficult to open and to close. But also, on the flip side, giving you more weather resistance. Main compartment, we got a MOLLE rail system on the top and bottom. We've got a little hanging D-ring at the northernmost point, possibly for a hydration bladder, and some internal organization here. A 45-liter bag is a big bag. It's great for 3 to 7 days, depending on how you pack. And I love a main compartment like this because it's very minimal. Sure, we got some pockets here, but it's just so packing cube friendly. So we got a week's worth of shirts and shorts in my large packing cube, underwear, undershirts, tech pouch, dop kit, headphones case, shoes, and all that's going to fit very comfortably. And then on these other pockets, you can do your tech stuff, you can do some more dop kit stuff. The choice is yours. Clamshell style opening in the main compartment too, crucial for a travel backpack in 2026. You can see we can close this up, and because of how minimalist this compartment is, it's easy to close. The only challenge is just like the fabric itself is thick. 1000D Cordura is chunky, but you can see these number 10 zips, they're not gonna survive, they're gonna thrive. So if you are packing this bag out as much as you possibly can, these number 10 YKKs, they got your back. One note though, this front pocket, now that the main compartment is packed out, it's just a lot harder to access. Like my headphones in here, you know, not too bad actually. I didn't overpack the main compartment, but yeah, more or less, just kind of keep that in mind. Volume in the front will be compromised depending on what is put in the main compartment. Like even these compression straps, just the nylon webbing that we're using, it is so thick, it is so coarse. Like in a way that's like quite extra, but it adds to the vibe. GORUCK knows who they are, and that's what I love about bags the most, is when they just know who they are and they're very, very focused. A couple more quick notes. Self-standing, it's not the best self-stander. It's gonna depend on how you pack it out. It's gonna depend on what you put at the bottom of the bag. But yeah, overall, I give it like a 1 out of 5 on the self-standing scale. Oh, and speaking of the bottom of the bag, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more lash points, and these are chunky. And then finally, let's talk about the size. Carry-on compliance, gonna greatly depend on where you are and where you're flying to. Fun fact too, on a side note, they used to be made in the US, but now this bag and most GORUCK bags are made in Vietnam, which honestly I'm a huge fan of. I think Vietnam is the best backpack manufacturing country in the world, with China as a close second and US as a comfortable third. So it's not a bad thing that GORUCK moved their operations and production to Vietnam, but some people are a little irked that the price point didn't drop with that. But again, insane lifetime guarantee, plus all the high quality materials, you know, it adds up. Anyways, back to carry-on compliance. Gonna depend on where you are in the world. This is our personal item checker for US flights, and this is just not gonna work, right? This is not going to make personal item territory. But GORUCK claims that this fits all major airlines carry-on compliance. So if you do wanna put the bag in the bin overhead and you're in the States, you should be good to go. Now, real fast, before we jump into the next section, I gotta let you know that if you are enjoying this review, you might be a bit of a bag nerd, or at the very least, like you love to travel, maybe you like EDC, you're really into gear. So again, I wanna welcome you to Nomads Nation, but I also wanna tell you that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do gear reviews on our YouTube channel, but we also publish the Nomads Nation newsletter. And if you like gear a lot, this is gonna be one of the best newsletters in the world for you. I mean, it's so unique. We put so much time into it, and it's different from our reviews. Because instead of taking a microscope on an independent individual product, we take a look out 30,000 feet and give you all the breaking news of what's happening in this industry. I'm talking about the newest drops, limited edition collabs, industry trends, and everything in between. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in this incredible industry, be sure to sign up for the Nomads Nation newsletter, which you can do by finding this globe emoji in the description below. I hope to see you in your inbox. Let's talk about the back of the GORUCK GR3. I forgot to mention that I don't love that in the main compartment, we're using a black lining. It's very dark, this lining, and it makes it harder for me and a lot of people in this community to find what we put where. Black lining is nice though, because even though it gets dirty, you're less likely to see the dirt, so there is a pro to it. But I'm really happy that on this back sunglasses pocket, GORUCK did not give us a black lining. They gave us some neon orange, baby. It's kind of like a reddish orange. This is where you can pop your shades, a little bit of depth to this pocket. And I quite like this pocket because instead of going down to here, like an able carry bag, which is actually one of my least favorite parts of an able carry bag, because then you have your glasses here, it feels like your back is pressing up against it, and I feel like I'm gonna smash my shades. GORUCK said no, they built the pocket kind of sideways, so it's actually resting your shades right here. But it's also got a bit more room to it. You see, I got an iPhone 16, that can slide in there, plenty of space to have a very good time. Okay, let's talk about laptop protection, because if your number one goal is to protect your laptop, GORUCK might be the best bag on the planet for that, but it's gonna come with some compromises. First of all, compromise number one, you gotta move the shoulder straps to access the laptop compartment. I greatly dislike that. Like I said, I'm impatient. But once you have gotten back here, this is so padded, it's absolutely insane. We're not getting as much padding on this side, although there's a bit. But you know, honestly, you don't have to worry about that. You have your packing cubes in here and your clothes and sweaters in here. But this combination of padding and false bottom, it's about right to here, which we're looking at over 2.5 inches. It could be, just on those two factors of padding and false bottom, the best laptop compartment or the most secure and safe laptop compartment that I've ever seen. And all GORUCK bags are this way. They're laptop compartments. They advertise them as bomb-proof. I think it's a little extra. We have not verified those claims on Nomad's Nation, but there's no doubt about it, it's gnarly. And because of the size of this bag, I suspect we'll be able to fit our 17-inch Asus Vivo book in there. Oh, absolutely, with plenty of room to spare. Again, it's just annoying to have to get behind these shoulder straps every time. But again, a pro and a con, that actually gives you extra security, because it's a bit harder for you to get into the laptop compartment. You gotta move these shoulder straps. It's hard for a potential thief as well. And one last note on the security and safety of the laptop compartment is that it's protected with a YKK PU-coated zipper. That's this matte finish right here. PU-coated zippers, based on our testing, do help to prevent rain and water seepage by up to 30%, but they can peel over time, looking like this. Overall, the laptop compartment though, it's really impressive. But let's talk about something that's significantly less impressive, at least to me, and the way that I like my bags. Fun story. I started my own bag brand after testing a bunch of bags. And that bag brand is called Firo. And if you touch a Firo bag, or you wear it, or you investigate the shoulder straps and back panel, that thing is luxury. We use like a neo lycra with neoprene and this cushy, lush padding, and like, it's like having a cloud on your back, because that's how I like my backpacks. So keep that in mind. It's a caveat when I say that I hate how a GORUCK feels, especially this big one. This feels, it's like, I don't know why I thought it was. It's like a shaved bear is just like hugging your back. Like, it's like a box on your back. And that's just kind of like what GORUCK wants. Don't get me wrong, we have plenty of padding and a really nice shoulder strap width of 3 inches, right? So it's gonna help distribute the weight. It's not gonna cut into your shoulders, but it's just so like not cushy, it's not cloud-like, it's not mattressy. But some people like that, some people like that, kind of a vibe. Same thing with the back panel, it's just very hard. Not a ton of ventilation going through here, but it's just one of those things that's a vibe. And if you like your gear to feel tough, then you're gonna think this is a dream. But if you like me, like a little bit more, I don't know, just a bit more of like a luxurious, kind of like soft experience, this might feel like a nightmare. Shoulder straps have Molly lash points all the way down. And one last point of agitation for me is GORUCK's insistence to never include dangle stoppers, AKA web holders. Bring out No Dangle Dan. He is a protester, and he's protesting this and this. I know we can buy a rubber band or like, you know, third-party solutions for a couple bucks on Amazon, but at 400 USD, I don't want to have to buy that. I just want to include it on the bag. Until we do No Dangle Dan and myself, we'll continue our protest. See you later, little guy. One final note. For this being a travel bag, GORUCK has left out a luggage pass-through holder. Luggage pass-through holder is when there might be like a little bit of nylon right here, and then you can slide the bag over the handle of your suitcase. No such option here. GORUCK said, you want a one-bag travel? Then you're gonna one-bag travel. All right, that's about it. Now we gotta get into the most crucial part of this review and talk about the overall pros and cons. Pro number one, insane build quality. GORUCK's construction and development techniques could be some of the best I've ever seen. These bags don't break. Pro number two, even if it did, you are covered by one of the world's best lifetime warranties that I've ever seen. And pro number three, if laptop security is important to you, this one's as good as it gets. But on the flip side, all bags have cons. Here are mine. Con number one, this bag feels insanely rigid, which is not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. Con number two is just gonna be how that extends to the comfort of this bag. Again, not gonna be for everyone. And con number three, a 45-liter travel bag without a water bottle holder. We didn't really discuss this, but it's going to be a huge deal breaker for a lot of travelers out there. All right, let's take these overall pros and cons and mash them together into our overall scores. First up, caveat, all these scores are personal, just based on my experience using this bag and having tested other bags. First up, for the comfort, I'm gonna give it like a 1.5 out of 5. Now, here's the deal. This is gonna depend from person to person, but I also read a lot of comments and I know that like just the GORUCK feel isn't for everyone. But I think that if it is going to be for you, it's a lot more, let's say, acceptable or okay when the bag is smaller. When you're at 45 liters and you're my size, it's not a good time. But if you're a bigger dude, it's all my Sasquatches out there, you know, it's all relative to scale, right? Next up for value, I'm gonna give this a 2.5 out of 5. If it weren't for the Scar's lifetime warranty, this score would be lower, because there's no doubt about it, by market standards, GORUCK is just really expensive. But the lifetime guarantee and the high quality materials help kind of negate that. And I think at the end of the day, you know, it's a pretty fair value for what you're getting. Like, take that into contrast with like CT, who's often compared to GORUCK. Their bags come in at 80% less the price with, you know, 70% similar construction and quality, but you only get a 2-year warranty. And for my overall score, I'm gonna give this bag a 2.5 out of 5. To me, GORUCK just took their rucking bag, which I think works in a smaller form very, very well. And they're like, yo, we'll just blow it up. And that's fine, but I think for the average person, it's gonna feel less like an awesome travel bag and more just like a crazy experience of a rucking bag. This bag was not designed for travel from the ground up. But keep in mind that if you're still watching this, you might think to yourself, hey, you're in there. Go f yourself. I love this bag. I'm gonna buy one. I think it's the most perfect travel bag ever. And just a reminder, if you are gonna make a purchase, we do suggest doing so with the first link in the description. 2 reasons why. First, that link makes sure that you get the best price. And second, if we have any discount codes, that's where they'll be. But if you're not quite sold that this is the bag for you, let's talk alternatives. First up, if you are new to the Nomads Nation channel and you're in the market for a large bag or any bag, you should definitely check out our leaderboard video. In this video, myself and the Nomads Nation squad, we get together and pick our favorite bags in different bag categories. I've gone ahead and linked that above. Also, if you're new to Nomads Nation, as I said earlier, here at NN, after reviewing hundreds of bags, we decided to start our own gear brand as well, called Firo. At Firo, we specialize in making gear that keeps modern professionals streamlined and focused. We've launched a travel bag, an EDC, and a sling, and are building our own amazing community as well. So if you want to learn more about Firo, you can do so at firo.co or with the second link in the description. But if we're really close with the GR3, here's 2 bags that might get you a little bit closer. My first alternative will be the Cabin Zero Military Backpack 44 liters. This is a great bag for you if you're looking for, you know, a bag that has that kind of military tactical aesthetic, but you'd love to find one that's not $400 US, which I get. Times are tough. Inflation's a bitch. Cabin Zero is half the price. And I think it's kind of like a better travel bag in some ways because, as the name suggests, Cabin Zero, 0 bags in the cabin. They just specialize in making really great travel gear. And my second alternative is gonna be the Tortuga Travel Backpack 40 liter. This is a great pick for you if you're in the market for a killer travel bag and you're here to dish some money, right? Like, you're ready to buy the cream of the crop. You want premium materials and lifetime warranty. That's what Tortuga does best, and they specialize in travel gear, especially making comfortable travel gear. It's not as affordable as Cabin Zero. It's like on the same price point as GORUCK is, but they make some of my favorite travel bags of all time. Honestly, all 3 bags are great. It just depends on what you're looking for. So if you want to learn more about the 2 alternatives, you can do so by watching these videos right here. If you got any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.